Aha, here we go. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Okay, welcome everyone. I'm about to get tuned in here. Let me flip my camera around here. Yeah, flip it around. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now you should be able to see me and hear me. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. Let me get on my smartphone here. And this way I can read your comments, respond to your questions. And we're going to go ahead and get rolling with this. Let me go into live stream. I'm going to send it out on Twitter. Actually, it's not Twitter anymore. It's called X. I'm going to send it out on X. Send it out on Pinterest. Let's see. Better yet, let's just go ahead and get rolling here. I'm going to go to the comments. There we go. 4 people watching. We got people tuning in already. Great. Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this show. Let me get into the comment section here on my phone. Okay, now I'm in there. Okay, we're back. Cal says, what a great view you have. Thank you. Appalachian Ocean. SoCal says, and we're back. Awesome. Yep, been working on the live stream. We got Jake here. Jake, Maya, McKenna, and Katie. See, I remember this stuff. Are they tuned in? Jake says, I've been having a bit of a rough time after I had a mishap on the job at the fire department. While on scene of a major car accident, I was burnt badly after one of the car's fuel tank. Oh man, that's awful. But it's awful. But at least you're here to tell us about that. And that doesn't downplay that. That's crazy, man. Yes, sir. You bet. Talking about Maya, McKenna, and Katie. So what I want to do within this live stream, and obviously we can talk about everything, but it being Labor Day weekend, we're going to talk about barbecuing. So I've got a few things in motion here. I've got my electric smoker right here. And by the way, you can subscribe to my channel and you can find the links to all of this equipment. And then behind me, I've got the Weber. So I'm about to do some jerk pork chops, and those are for dinner tonight. And then the pork butt that's in there is going to smoke for about 24 hours. It's for the big shindig throughout the weekend. But just wanted to take a moment and regroup with the audience. I mean, it's y'all's, your viewership and your support. And it's funny, I fired this up. I've got Cal, I've got SoCal Seth, I've got Jake Eves. I mean, I got everybody just popping in immediately. I didn't schedule this. It was just on the fly. So, that is, two thumbs up, super support for the channel. And these guys have been here for the long haul. Jake says, a stupid mistake on my part. I still curse myself for that. Well, everybody makes mistakes, and that's that's awful, man. I mean, what happened is terrible, but like I said, look at the bright side. You're here to talk about it. I mean, that's the main thing. So, SoCal says it's always nice when YouTube notifies. So that's an acknowledgement from SoCal Seth that this live stream, even though I didn't schedule it in advance, it was a YouTube notification that alerted SoCal Seth and probably everybody else on this too. So I'm going to start doing a lot more live streams. I've got a lot of if you don't know my channel, you may not know this, but I've got a lot of irons in the fire, man. I'm a serial entrepreneur, not like cereal, like the, breakfast or whatever, but just cereal as in, business A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and continuing. So I've been super consumed with some of the startups that I'm working on, but it feels good to be able to get out and and reconnect with the audience in the form of a live stream, because part of any business venture, or ventures plural, is allocating the time to just kind of break away and do what you need to do. And IrixGuy's Venture Channel is one of my huge one of the things that I enjoy more than anything. Kyle says same. Jake says yes, and I plan on going back to work when I'm headed up. It's not as bad as you would think. Good. Oh, that's good. It's good. It's not as bad as it sounded. You really made it sound really bad. SoCal says ditto on the entrepreneurship. Jake says, in an accident like that won't stop me doing the job, saving other people's lives. There you go. That's the mentality, man. But this live stream, and I hope the audio is good. I've put a lot of work into this, and I've got my IrixGuy's Venture Channel Studio 2.0, and I'm going to be doing a lot of live streams from there. It's sound, it's the sound is optimized. I've got acoustic treatments on the walls. The ceiling is a drop ceiling, so it's made for live streaming. And I'm going to take that to I'm going to put that into effect full throttle here very soon. But this is just it's Sony A7R5, Sony Alpha. I've got it plugged into my MacBook Air M2, and I've got a special cable. Now, that's something that one might not think about. It's like, oh, well, I can just use a USB-C, a USB Charlie cable for my webcam. You can do that, but the cable that I've got has an ultra-high data transfer rate, so it's able, hopefully the audio and video, even though this is a live stream, hopefully the audio and video both are on point. And that's that's the thing here ever since day one. And I got a lot of criticism when 4K Ultra HD first came to the table, because people were like, man, why are you filming in 4K, dude? Nobody's watching in 4K. Nobody has 4K sets. And that's true. Where we are today, look back and be like, okay, go to your insert store, whatever here. 4K TVs are plentiful. 4K TVs, as far as today's pricing is concerned, are affordable. So 4K is the new norm. 1080p is kind of out. 1080p is still good. I don't think that 8K is significantly adopted yet. So I haven't been filming a lot in 8K, even though this camera does film in 8K Ultra HD. So it's kind of interesting. But we're going to talk about the barbecue advice. So a lot of people, you're trying to cook something, you want to make people feel good and be like, man, that's good. And you don't want that, the person that you got that cookout or whatever, and they're just trying to be nice, like that tastes good. No, you want something that's exceptional. And one thing I've always done, and this is one of my many personas here on the IrixGuy's Venture Channel, Chef IrixGuy, and that is cooking. So, part of it is the fun of YouTube. And hear that animal? I don't know if that's coming through on the mic or not, man, but it's creepy. I don't know what it is. Raccoons make some weird noises, but that's not a raccoon. Dude, that is a weird noise. It's super weird. I got all kinds of wildlife. But yeah, I just want to talk about the smoking barbecue and, things that people can, that they can cook that's impressive, but not complicated. So, for example, right now, my Masterbuilt, my electric smoker right here beside me, I've got a 10.2 pound pork butt in there. Now, a full pork butt's probably going to be 20 pounds or so. I just do a half butt, but a half butt is a ton of food. All that I do, and check out my video. I've detailed it step by step how to smoke a pork butt step by step. Pretty much explains it. But at a high level, all it is you go to your butcher, you get a quality butt or half butt in my case, about a 10.2 pound. Rub it with mustard, rub it with barbecue salt, maybe put a little bit of garlic powder or fresh garlic on there. And then, the mustard is the yellow mustard, just cheapest mustard you can get, store brand, whatever. That acts as a binder. So that's binding the barbecue salt and or other seasonings to the meat. And then once you got that, you just set your smoker to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. You stick your butt in there, you put a probe in so you can monitor the internal meat temp. Once that sucker hits 201 degrees Fahrenheit internal meat temp, that's when it's ready to take it off, let it rest for about 45 minutes, and then pull your butt. And you can, check out my video because I've got these tools. When I pull my butt, it makes it really easy. They kind of look like bear claws. So, Jake says, I've had my fair share of injuries and accidents on my ATV, all-terrain vehicle, for people that don't know the acronym. And I'm a weapon collector, so I've had my fair share of injuries. Jake says, that, I believe, may be a nightjar or an owl. I think you're right. I think it is an owl. I think that's probably, because they can make, those owls can make some creepy sounds, man. I've been out in the deep, deep Appalachian wilderness, and I've run into some really creepy sounding animals. Now, I've got a bunch of raccoons up here, and actually, y'all probably seen George Cooney and crew. They're friendly raccoons, they're wild, but, they're pretty cool. They'll just come up and like, hey, man, I want some food. I'll feed them. But, yeah, I mean, it's Labor Day weekend, so we're thinking about barbecuing. Barbecuing is not a rushed process. Barbecuing is something that one needs to take their time, be extremely patient, trust the thermometer. Don't trust your belly because, it's kind of like walking into a grocery store, you're hungry. You're going to buy a bunch of junk you don't need. Same thing's applicable when it comes to barbecue. You're sitting there waiting on that, and it's like, oh, is it done? Maybe it's done. No. That's why I don't have a window on my smoker. You don't want anything to encourage you to rush the process. It's the internal temp. With a pork butt, 201. 201 degrees Fahrenheit, internal meat temp, boom, perfect. When it hits 201, take that sucker out and let it rest for 45 minutes before you pull your butt. We're going to put some more chips in here. Now, I do have a large side attachment that I use. It's called a slow smoker attachment. But today I'm just using the little twist and reload doohickey right here. So, I mean, this thing, it gets the job done, man. I got all my wood chips in my box. Keep everything organized. It's got some hickory chips in here. You could use hickory. You could use apple wood. You could use whatever. I mean, you're doing chicken. Maybe you got some mesquite. I'm going to reload this with some hickory. If you're not familiar with wood, hickory you can't go wrong with. I mean, you can use hickory for everything from brisket to pork, chicken. Hickory is good. See, I got my hickory chips in here, so I'm going to stick my hickory chips in my Masterbuilt. Twist it, boom, they're dumped in. Like I said, I use the Masterbuilt slow smoker attachment. Sometimes I can put a larger quantity of wood chips in there. My problem with that, although it's great, check out my videos and you can find where to buy it within my videos descriptions. But I like the interaction. I like putting wood chips in there about every 45 minutes or so. So that's why I'm not using it tonight. Cal says, I have a similar model Masterbuilt smoker. How do you clean yours? Specifically, I'm worried about getting the heating coil and the bottom wet, but the interior of the smoker is really messy now. That's a great question. So I'm going to tell you how I clean mine. And I mean, obviously, it goes without saying, everybody's out there watching, follow the manufacturer's recommendations. If you have questions, call them and ask. But I'll tell you exactly what I do. So for starters, right now, I'm only smoking a half butt. So I've only got one rack in there. I've removed all the other racks. I've got one rack. It's at the bottommost position, directly above the water pan. Water pan has chopped garlic in it, and that's it. That assists with the aromatics. That chopped garlic in there, fresh garlic that's chopped in the water pan, it's going to further enhance the flavor profile. You've got the hickory, you've got the slow smoking nature, and you got the water pan for moisture control, but then you've got the aromatics that's coming from the addition of the garlic. You don't have to put garlic in there, but man, if you do, it's going to take it to the next level. So that's how I'm smoking in it. So one grate, because I've only got one, a half a butt, about a 10 pound butt. I got the water pan in there. I got the chopped garlic in the water pan. So when I finish the smoke, what do I do to clean the Masterbuilt electric smoker? Well, it's actually pretty simple. So I'll let everything cool down. You don't want to burn your hands. You don't want to create a fire hazard. It's unplugged. It's cooled down. What I do, I remove the grate. I remove the water pan, and I take that and dump it outside, and then I take it in, and honestly, I just put both of those in the dishwasher. So that leaves the smoker box, because when I'm that little twisty thing I just used for the hickory chips, add more hickory chips, when I dump those in there, they land in this aluminum or metal type tray. I don't know what kind of metal it is. So I take that tray out because it's got all the ash. Because, when you smoke for a few hours, in my case, about 24 hours for a half a butt, you're going to have a bunch of ash in there. So I just take that and I dump it out. So I've got the ashtray dumped. So then on the bottom of the Masterbuilt electric smoker, there's a removable piece. It's a drip tray. It's got a little hole, and then it runs out the rear of the Masterbuilt, and there's a drip collection thing on the back, on the outside. The drip collection thing on the outside of the Masterbuilt, I dump it out, I spray it out with the water hose outside. I don't bother cleaning it beyond that because it's not making contact with the internals of the electric smoker. So, maybe I'm being lazy the way I'm cleaning it. I don't know. But the drip tray I also put in my dishwasher. The inside of the smoker itself, having said what I just said, everything's removed except for the the edges of the not the edges, but the walls of the smoker. I mean, they collect over time. Here's something banging. They collect the smoke, hickory and applewood or whatever. I don't know what's going on. Hickory, applewood, or whatever. Doesn't matter what type of wood you're burning. It creates a black type coating. If you look at the inside of my Masterbuilt, it's black all around all the sides, and that's because I use it. Now, this is where what I should say is that, well, I mean, obviously follow manufacturer's recommendations. When I see the black coating on the inside of the Masterbuilt, I'm like, okay, that's a smoker that's been used. What I don't want to see is any sort of flakiness. It's black, but maybe it's developed flakes. If it's got flakes that could fall into future smokes, you definitely probably should consider cleaning it. And I wouldn't use anything that has an odor to it. Soaps, they've often got, I don't want to say, what's the word, perfume or whatever in it. gives it a smell. You don't want that inside your smoker, because when you smoke again, it's like, ooh, I cleaned my smoker. But what you've actually done, if you've used soaps that have a scent, is you've introduced abnormal flavor profiles for your future smokes. So for that reason, admittedly, and call me lazy, I've got the grate. I've got everything that's making contact with the meats and or vegetables. It is clean. So there's no, in my opinion, no contamination. As I mentioned, the interior walls, I don't have flakiness. Now that's something in my Weber over here, this charcoal grill, that every few months or so with the charcoal grill, I'll kind of scrub if it gets kind of that ash or soot or soot, whatever you call it, builds up. I'll clean it out because I don't want anything dropping in the food. But I don't have that problem with the Masterbuilt. So that's, Kyle, that's how I film. That's how I clean my Masterbuilt. Kyle says, let's see, let me go here. We're going to scroll through here. Jake says, I have owls around my area. We have the barred owl, great horned owl, and barn owl, and eastern screech owl here. Yeah, that barred owl makes some wicked, like almost electronic sounding sounds. That is cool. We also have the great gray owl, and in the winter, the snowy owl. SoCal says, I apple would smoke my ribs, then do tequila, lime, pomegranate glaze. Oh man, lime on point, pomegranate glaze next level, and yeah, that's in tequila. You'd have to have excess of tequila. I'm drinking a reposado right now, but that's a fantastic addition, dude. Kyle says, I'm mostly referring to grease buildups on the very bottom. I don't find that much goes into the drip tray. Same here. The drip tray, talking about you've got the drip tray in the bottom on the in the interior of the electric smoker, but then you've got that hole in the rear of the drip tray on the interior drip tray that drains out to the outside. And that thing, and I'd grab it. It's the thing that's on the back. It's probably 2 or 3 inches deep by 6 or 12 inches wide. It drains out to that. No, I'm with you on that. Kyle says, I agree. No food is touching the walls and the bottom. It's probably safe. I was just curious if you felt the same. No, that's exactly how I feel. And it's, it's not being lazy. It's just, let's see what we got here. I'm 140 degrees internal meat temp. Like I said, that sucker, when that butt hits 201 degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to be ready to pull and rest for 45 minutes. And then, it's going to be ready to pull out of the smoker, rest for 45 minutes, and then pull the butt. No, I'm with you, Cal. I'm with you on that. SoCal says, most important is a supervisory sipping beverage whilst waiting. Yeah, no doubt. This right here, I've got, let's see, it's not Hornitos. Oh, this is El Jimador Reposado. And I cheated and I didn't make it myself. I didn't make the mix myself, but I'm using a Zing Zang margarita mix, which is actually, for a store-bought margarita mix, is not bad. It uses cane sugar. I've got that, and then I rim the glass with a fresh lime and margarita salt, and then put the rest of the lime in the lime juice in the beverage. And it's actually pretty good for not a completely, I wouldn't call this a perfect margarita. I would say it's a very, very good margarita, better than you're going to get in any restaurant. But I need to do the entirely homemade step just by squeezing those limes and the mangoes. Kyle says, since I've gone from charcoal to this Masterbuilt electric, I'm smoking twice as often. It's a pleasure to smoke again. Yeah, and speaking of that, Kyle, going from charcoal, and you, it sounds like you've been in the same spot that I've been. I mean, I've been, I've been smoking. I mean, I'm old, dude. I've been smoking for 30 plus years, and the traditional smokers that were the barrel style, and some of them are actually old oil barrels that were cut in half, and you made a smoker. The problem with that, especially with today, is the cost of the charcoal, because with a traditional smoker, you're constantly having to regulate the temperature. And what does that mean? Well, number one, you got to keep a close eye on everything, because if you don't have enough charcoal in there, the temp's going to drop. You need to add more, but if you add too much, it may flame up, and you may get too hot. So the consistent temperature with a charcoal smoker, although I'm sure you were able to accomplish it also, it's an art. You really got to know what you're doing. And today it's a cost. I mean, you're not with this. The temp is maintained by way of electricity, which electricity is expensive, but the amount of electricity this consumes is negligible. So at least with this, all you got to do is add the flavor, which is a hickory. So I love electric smokers because you get phenomenal results. You get meat out of the sucker that has that just 5-star famous barbecue restaurant flavor, but you don't have the cost. You use a minimal amount of wood chips. The electricity maintains the temp, and all you got to do is replenish the wood chips. So I mean, it's a phenomenal invention for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's a pleasure to smoke again. It definitely is. I mean, and granted, back here, I'm using and I need to fire that up. Let me plug it in. I've got electric charcoal lighter. Yeah, I just plugged that in. So the Weber behind me, it uses obviously it's charcoal, but I've got some jerk pork chops. I got some French bone in pork chops that I've marinated overnight in soy, Worcestershire, and believe it or not, and I usually get it when I'm in Jamaica, and obviously that's the authentic jerk seasonings there. But I will tell you, Amazon, and check out my separate video. Amazon has a jerk seasoning now that's super good. Check out my separate video. I've got the link there. You get a big container of it. Add that. Maybe throw in some pineapple or whatever. I mean, it's phenomenal. So that's what I'm about to cook on my Weber, and that's I'm not going to slow smoke the pork chops. It's just jerk pork chops. Put them on the grill. Put a little bit of hickory in there. Because this bad boy over here, this 10.2 pound butt's not going to be ready until tomorrow. That's going to be good. We're going to have, my wife and daughter and I are going to have some good food. Let's see. Jake says, I always hear the who cooks for you, all of the barred owl in the spring and summer at night, and the great horned owl. Yeah, that's the barred owl. Here it is. Who hoots for you? Who hoots for you? Ah. Who hoots for you? Who hoots for you? Ah. That's the barred owl. But it does make some electronic sounds throughout the night as well. Jake says, I mentioned that the new Wolf Island ferry is now at Wolf Island. The Wolf Islander 4 is now doing testing, and I now have a beautiful picture of my phone. Oh, cool, dude. Very cool. SoCal says, need to make that hot sauce recipe I sent you. Yep. SoCal sent me a recipe, and that's in my books, man. You know how it is being I mean, you know how it is. You're an entrepreneur as well. You got all these ventures going. It's like, how am I going to find time? How am I going to find time? And I vividly remember you sending that to me, and I've got to do it because it sounds excellent. And when I do it, I will post a video, and without a doubt, a shout out to SoCal Seth for the recipes. That'd be awesome. Hold on one second, guys. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Is so sorry. I had to put my potatoes on. And now I got to set my timer. Set my timer here. Make sure I don't miss those potatoes. Timer, 1 hour. There we go. Perfect. SoCal says, I hear you, bro, in the same boat. No joke. Gotta hustle, hustle, hustle to survive. Yeah, I know this is about barbecue, man. Kyle says, love this format. Got to go eat with the fam. Pleasure speaking with you. Kyle, cheers. Thanks as always for tuning in and the long-term support. And I'll see you next time, man. Have a good dinner, dude. I'm about to do the same here in probably about an hour because I got to do those pork chops on the Weber. Okay, I'm going to step over here. I'll be right back. Be right back. Checking on the raccoons, George Cooney and crew, because they are hungry and they are down there and they're like, dude, where's the food, bro? Judd says, do you like GoPro? Judd, I will tell you, man. Actually, I used to love GoPro. I've used GoPro since GoPro Hero 2. I didn't adopt GoPro with GoPro Hero 1 because I didn't understand at the time kind of the need for it. And that was before I was involved with YouTube. So it's kind of like, well, why do I want to get a camera that's not really as good as some other cameras? And then I'm like, oh, GoPro is cool because you can mount it to anything, to most anything. You can take it underwater. You can get some really unique perspectives. I used to love GoPro. It wasn't until GoPro Hero 9 that I encountered issues. And not that I only have one GoPro Hero 9 crash, but I had the second GoPro Hero 9 fail as well. So GoPro had sent me a replacement for my original GoPro Hero 9 that failed, but then my second one failed. And at the time of this live stream, it's been many months, and I still haven't received a repaired GoPro or a replacement GoPro. And I did ship it to GoPro, and I used signature confirmation to ensure that someone actually got the package, and they did. And I still haven't received a replacement GoPro or repaired GoPro. So it's really, really irritated me. My opinion, and again, this is my opinion, is that GoPro went public, GPRO, sticker symbol. And ever since they went public, the street, Wall Street, kind of influenced them. And it's my opinion that GoPro now is outsourced its soul. I mean, you don't have the company of the employees that care about the company and the product, and you don't really have a quality product anymore, in my opinion, based upon my experience with GoPro Hero 9. So it's not something I can trust anymore. So hopefully something will come out that'll be better than GoPro. Wouldn't it be great if Apple released an action camera? DJI does a pretty good job with action cameras, but they're not quite up to snuff with where GoPro used to be as far as quality and performance. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's a weird one. But do I like GoPro today? No, I don't. After my experience with GoPro Hero 9, the two that failed, and the lack of customer service for the second one that failed is unacceptable, in my opinion. But if they would fix it or repair it, fix it, repair it, replace it, whatever they need to do, then maybe I'd be happy again. But I get the opinion that they don't care about the product or the customers, and that's my perception. Perception is reality. So barbecue. What are we going to talk about? Labor Day weekend barbecue. Question and answer. Do you have barbecue questions? Are you trying to smoke the perfect pork butt for the first time? Are you trying to smoke ribs? Are you trying to cook a hot dog? There's all different degrees of questioning. How do I barbecue? I'm here to help. I'm kind of like you're trying to impress. You're trying to smoke some ribs. You're trying to cook a hot dog. You're trying to grill a hamburger, and you don't want to come out looking like a failure. So what are you doing? You're Googling. You're on Google, and you may have found this live stream. So, any question that you ask, it's not going to be a dumb question. I'm here to answer everything, whether it's advanced or so newbie-ish that a lot of people would laugh. I'm not going to laugh. You can ask whatever. If you want to know how to cook a hot dog, how to grill a hot dog, I'll tell you. There's no shame here. So, got all the chat coming in here. Let's see what we got. Yes, got a bunch of people here. What we have here with this option. Wow, this YouTube app has added a lot of different features. A bunch of features. Jay Haig or Hog or Hage. Sorry if I mispronounced your last name. What are your favorite marinades? Actually, that's very simple. So if I'm going to buy a store-bought marinade, and let's just call this a universal marinade, I'd use it with chicken. I could use it with steak. I could use it with pork. Universal marinade is Allegro. It's from Paris, Tennessee. Allegro, they have a variety of different marinades. I like the original Allegro. It's very good. I like the Allegro Hickory. I like the Allegro Soy and Lime. The Allegro Soy and Lime, it's my favorite one on pork. And they've also got a whiskey Allegro, which is really good on pork. It's good on steak also, burgers. Allegro is a really good marinade family. But if you only get one Allegro, just stick with the original. They're all good. The ones I've tried from Allegro, they're super good. But the original Allegro is, universal. You can use it on pretty much anything. Probably any of the Allegro marinades you could use on any type of meat and vegetables too. That's my favorite, let's call it store-bought marinade. Now, my favorite marinades are ones that I make myself. Now, the most simplistic formula for a marinade is Worcestershire and soy sauce. You know, that those two ingredients are a good base. Doesn't have to be the name brand soy sauce and Worcestershire. Just get the cheapest stuff you can get. I mean, as long as it's good. And I'll do that. And then for the marinade, I'll add. I might add some garlic powder if I want it a little bit spicy. You know, maybe I'll add some cayenne if I want a mild spice. If I want something a little bit more aggressive, maybe I add habanero. If I want something that's going to ignite and excite, then I might add some ghost pepper or Carolina Reaper. And you can always add black pepper and sea salt in there. You know, make your own marinade. Fresh lime, fresh lemon, squeeze it in there, bring it to a boil on the stove top, and then let it cool off and make that your marinade. I mean, you can make your own marinade, but as far as off the shelf's concerned, Allegro is great. And subscribe to my channel and check out my Allegro marinade video, and you'll be able to find a link down below where you can order the marinade. It's really good. But some other marinades are kind of bland. I mean, you can go to most any grocery store and get Moore's marinade, which is mainstream. It's pretty good. It's not as good as Allegro, but I mean, it's acceptable. Now, you get something overly salty, in my opinion, Dale's has a great flavor profile, especially on mushrooms and vegetables and steak, but it's very salty. And then if you get the one with less sodium, it doesn't have the same effect, in my opinion. So SoCal says, okay, had to get groceries, gonna grill up some Cubano burgers on Monday. Okay, now what's in a Cubano burger? Now I love a Cuban sandwich. So my gut's telling me that a Cubano burger is probably similar to a Cuban sandwich. And I used to get Cuban sandwiches. I was down in Tampa, Florida, in that area. I was doing one of my business ventures. I was doing a lot of work in the Tampa Bay area. And one of my favorite things about the Tampa Bay area, they had a large Greek population, but they also had a large Cuban population. So on the Greek side, I got really good olives. I got introduced to a bunch of good Greek food, Greek cuisine. And on the Cuban side, man, those Cuban sandwiches, so simple, but so flavorful and so unique. I mean, if you've never had a Cuban sandwich, you are missing out. Think Cuban sandwich on a burger, then press the same way. Very nice. Yeah, that's what's that Cuban sandwich press is what makes everything so awesome. That's my electric charcoal lighter. Look at that. See, you see that smoke? And then I just wait on the coals to be lit on the top. And then all I have to do is pull that out. And the value add of that, there's multiple value adds. Number one, I don't have to squirt lighter fluid on my charcoal. So the grill will probably hold up for a longer period of time. Number two, I don't have to buy the more expensive charcoal that has lighter fluid added. It's just cleaner experience. I mean, all that I'm doing is utilizing a heating element to ignite my charcoal, and then I pull the heating element out. So, I mean, that's convenient. Now, some people use newspaper-based lighters. They put newspaper in there. I'm not going to say there's anything. I mean, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or a politician, but the fact there's paper and ink, that's probably not going to degrade the structural integrity of the grill. But why introduce that when all I have to do is have a heating element that's, just heating up? SoCal says the movie Chef with Jean Favreau made me hungry for Cuban food. It'll have to tie me over till I can get back to Little Havana being in Cuba. I've never been in Cuba. I want to go to Cuba. Look at this. Now this sucker is heated up here. Those coals are burning. I'm going to unplug my electric charcoal lighter, making sure I don't unplug my smoker. And there's a reason why I color coded my extension cords. This one is bright orange, so I know when I unplugged it that what I just did, I unplugged my charcoal lighter. My electric smoker is plugged into the green one. See, there's a lot of thought that goes into this barbecue that people would not necessarily think about. So see, now what I do, I gently pull this out and give it a shake. And there's the charcoal, man. It's ready to cook. So what I do, I sit that part I rested on my deck. It's not hot. It's the other part that's hot. So I rest it there so it can cool. And then I get my extension cord, like a boat captain. I get my extension cord and I reel it up. And like a good deckhand might do, I don't tie a knot, but I just loop it through. So now I've got it neatly organized. I'm going to put this inside. I'm going to grab my pork chops and I will be right back. I got my French bone-in ribeyes and French pork chops, bone-in pork chops. I got to put my grate on here, so I got to turn on the light, bro. You got to have your grate holders, not one but two, because the center grate is the searing grate. It's cast iron. So I got to lift it off. I've got it right here. I've got to look at the alignment, and I've got to gently push it on here. And this is challenging because it's dark out here. I'm trying to see if I've got it aligned properly. So there's two little tabs. Now, obviously, if you had a headlight or the sun was out or whatever, you'd be able to do it. But you don't want to put your meat on until you make sure your drill grate is properly inserted. So what I'm going to do now is turn on this flashlight, and it's not. I did a poor job of that. And this is not difficult, like I said, because there's only light out here. And that's intentional. I don't like light. Okay, now it's properly positioned, so nothing's going to fall off. So what I can do is I can hang my tools back on this, And I've already cleaned it, but when it's hot, I want to give it a good scrape again. This brush does not have bristles that can come off. If you want to really freak yourself out, read some horror stories about people that ingested a metal bristle from a brush. It can do a ton of damage. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a politician. I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so that searing grate is on there. Searing grate's so important because it's what gives your meat those professional looking sear marks. Music, a Bobo. Yay, hey, it's IrixGuy. Yes, it is. Welcome aboard. Music, a Bobo. About to put the chops on, man. Let's put these chops on. Put these chops on. So I got my chops. I'll bring these suckers over here so you can see them. Marinated overnight in the refrigerator. Marinated overnight in the refrigerator. Jerk pork chops. Soy sauce. Worcestershire, lime, and jerk seasoning. No marinade goes to waste. Drizzle that on there. Gonna keep the top open for a minute. Gonna get that good sear. Those searing grates doing what they're supposed to do. That's why they call them searing, S-E-A-R-I-N-G, searing grates. Drink this reposado. Now you want to sit them there. You want them to sit there for a minute because you don't want to flip them. Because when you flip them, you want to have that good quality professional sear that only a cast iron searing grate can accomplish. And then once we get the sear, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put the lid down, let it sear with the lid down. Oh, there's George Cooney down there. George Cooney is down there. We'll have to get him on video because I got some treats for George Cooney, the raccoon. You notice I put my spatula inside the grill like that, and the reason is that I use my spatula to place the pork on the grill before it was cooked. So what I'm doing now, I'm in essence cooking the spatula to remove any sort of bacteria that may be present from the pork. So just that's a pro tip that you may not be familiar with grilling. Why grab multiple tools? I mean, some people are so ignorant they don't even grab multiple tools and they cross-contaminate everything. I mean, it's something as simple as rubbing a pork butt and not washing your hands before you touch the barbecue seasoning shaker. You know, you touch the pork butt, then you touch the shaker. Well, if you do that, then you're contaminating the shaker. And then whenever you touch that shaker again, you got potentially contaminated hands. So you got to be good with food safety, man. I mean, you don't have to be. You can cook and eat like a pig, but you know, I'm just telling you best practice here. You know, you do whatever you want to do. But there's one thing certain here: everything that I cook is going to taste good. It's going to be clean and safe. I'll pull my phone back out here. I'm going to check in on the live stream. SoCal says, are they the famous raccoons from the Great Outdoors movie? This is George Cooney and crew arguably the most famous raccoon in the world. And I am going to get some food for George Cooney, but before we get that, I'm going to let that electric charcoal lighter, or starter, not lighter, starter, cool down. You can see this is what it looks like. And it's too hot right now to take inside, but once it's completely cool, I've got a storage area for this. So this is how I light my charcoal in my Weber. How cool is that? It just sits down, you put your coal on there, you plug it in, it heats up, charcoal starts burning, you pull it out, you put it somewhere safe to cool down. But yes, George Cooney is very concerned because he hasn't had his cuisine yet. So what I'm going to do, see, those are searing. We're going to multitask here. You know, it's all about having an agenda. I've got a structured agenda here. Live stream, excellent dinner, you know, cooking tutorials, excellent dinner for my wife and myself, and feeding the raccoon. The margarita sauce. Such a sad shame. Jimmy Buffett died today, September the 2nd of 2023. That was a cool dude. That dude lived life. Ran into Jimmy Buffett several times in the British Virgin Islands, and also the USVI, the United States Virgin Islands. Cool dude. He built an empire. He really did. Okay, so we're going to get George Cooney, the raccoon, some food. Let me go get that. Polish this sucker off. Woo wee, reposado. I'll be right back. You know what? I got a couple of limes in here. Check that out. A couple of limes in there. I'll throw them down George Cooney. Hey, George Cooney. You got tequila limes. Reposado. Wow. Hey, they ran over to it, man. But what I am going to do when I get the food, they tore up those tequila limes. And when I get the food, we're gonna move this camera over here so you can see George Cooney and crew devouring that cuisine. So I got some scrap vegetables and some popcorn. I'm gonna throw down to raccoon. Hey, George Cooney. See, I need to move this chair here so we can get an acceptable camera angle. So I'll put the laptop on the chair, and then we'll get George Cooney. So we're about to feed George Cooney, but before we do, I'm going to flip these pork chops. They've been seared. Always do a very proper straight. Oh man, those sear marks are so good. I'll show you the sear marks after we feed George Cooney and crew. So let's move this camera over here because we're going to feed the most famous raccoon in the world, the most famous raccoon on the internet, George Cooney. Nothing is scripted here. We're going to bring this sucker over here. Boom. Don't want to get too close to the grill, man. Don't want to burn my Sony Alpha, dude. Oh. Let's see. Let's get this sucker pointed down here to the raccoon area. The raccoon area. There we go. Hey, George Cooney and crew, come to the light, bro. There's some food. Woohoo! Oh, there he is, in front of the light. And this is my popcorn. Popcorn! The corn that pops. Here you go, sir. Here he is. How's that taste? Tell your friends. Here's another piece. No popcorn goes to waste. Popcorn action. There they are right there. Yeah, if you don't mind, walk in front of the light, please, because we've got a live stream and everybody's curious about George Cooney and crew. There we go. And that is solar LED lighting, so it's good for the environment. There's the raccoons eating. So now let me show you the sear marks. Let's see. Let's get these sear marks over here. I'll show you professional sear marks from Chef IrixGuy. Got these sear marks. Look at that. You can see them right there. I'm going to bring it closer to the camera. Now those are professional sear marks. That's what cast iron grates do, man. You're cooking on a regular charcoal grill, that's great, no problem. But when you upgrade to cast iron grates, you get sear marks like that. You saw it in real time, man. I mean, I was sitting there blabbing on. I was, spouting my trap. And then And then I said, you let me flip them. And that's how long it took, man. I mean, that's charcoal and searing grapes. SoCal Seth says he uses gloves personally. But man, that is some good stuff. I'm going to bring this back over here to the raccoons. See if we got some raccoon action down here. Hey, George Cooney. Oh, we do. Here's George Cooney. Hello, sir. He got camera shy. Sorry. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sorry. Where'd he go? Hey, George Cooney. He was there. Y'all saw him, but he's just not in a good mood, man. He's like, man, I want some brisket. We don't have brisket. We got gonna have some French pork chop bones, and that's about it tonight. You know, you'll have a Boston butt bone tomorrow. You know, no problem with that. Don't get too choosy. You gotta be happy with the fine cuisine that you receive. I mean, most raccoons just eat out of a trash can. They call them trash pandas. Not George Cooney and crew. They eat good stuff, good leftovers. Or I shouldn't say leftovers. I should say scraps. But yeah, man, this is barbecue, man. I hope y'all have a safe and happy Labor Day weekend. You know, always here for the grilling advice. Anything you want to ask about grilling, smoking, you know, you ask, and I'll try my best to respond. That's what Chef IrixGuy does. Appreciate y'all tuning into the live stream. I'm glad I've finally gotten my camera equipment to the state where it is now, to where I can do live streams like this. There's the Appalachian Ocean, in case you're curious. You can see the light pollution. You know, fortunately, I'm far enough away from the Appalachian Ocean where I don't have too much light pollution. You can still see the raccoons. But we can't see them right now because they've eaten and they've taken it off camera. They're like, dude, I don't want to be filmed while I eat. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, this is good stuff, man. So I really appreciate y'all tuning in, the continued support, and stay tuned. Oh wait, here's, speaking of continued. There he is, right there. There's two raccoons. George Cooney and crew. There he is. You like that solar light? How's that taste? Tastes good? Good. Fantastic. Well, on that note, thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. And also, if I have a live stream, and you know, I appreciate SoCal Seth and crew, Jake, SoCal, Kyle. I think the YouTube alert for the live stream really worked well. So thanks for your viewership, continued support, and we got a lot of stuff coming to IrixGuy's Adventure Channel in 2023 and beyond. Y'all have a good day.